you look at the wage increases over the last few years, it has therefore been inadequate, and there has been inconsistent measures to increase the manpower budget for civil servants. And the 4% increase in such context is actually urgent, because civil servant salaries shouldn't be stagnant, even if it could be high, because it needs to catch up with the cost of living expenses that increases on an annual basis.
This proposal has been approved by the executive Yuan, but it still has to be approved by the legislative Yuan. What are the chances of that happening?
I think it is possibly just a formality. If you look at the minimum wage increase for the private sector workers, the minimum wage review committee has decided to increase minimum wage to $25,000, $25,250 next year, and it has been approved, and it has generally been approved over the last few years. Perhaps the only issue that might occur at the legislative Yuan could be disagreements from the opposition, but the DPP currently has a majority, so it shouldn't be an issue.
Have they actually approved the proposal for a 4% pay rise for public sector workers, or is it a 4% rise in the manpower budget? And if so, might that not filter down to workers?
It can be a bit confusing when the media reports about this, because it says that it's a 4% increase to civil servant salaries, but then it is actually an increase to the civil servant manpower budget, and you have to take into account the number of civil servants that they employ, the number of civil servants that increases on an annual basis. And over the last few years, there have been slight increases to the amount of manpower. So even if this budget is increased, it has to be divided across the number of workers.